Today on the Morning Edition, questions are everywhere about ICE and immigration enforcement in Alaska and what to expect. How will APD handle ICE operating in Anchorage? We spoke to the chief of police and share what we learned. Plus, we've been first alerting you the past few days to severe winter weather, which is still blanketing the interior with fresh snowfall this morning. The borough announcing last night that schools and bus services would be closed today due to inclement weather. We'll share the details. And later, this 5-year-old just might impress you. A gifted student, he had the opportunity to look at a training manual for commercial airline pilots and noticed an error that got him and his family invited on a fun trip. As the Morning Edition starts now. Good Tuesday morning, everyone. Thanks for waking up with us today. Yesterday, we had a first alert day for the interior. What are we looking at now? We know that they got dumped on.
Yeah, we're still holding on to some of those snow showers this morning. A bigger concern throughout the day will be some winds, which will increase through parts of the Tanana Valley, which will lead to some blowing and drifting snow. Now, you can see current conditions in Fairbanks coming in at 17 degrees. Now, here over the next couple of days, we're going to see temperatures drop about 50+ degrees through the interior. Even here across South Central, we'll see temperatures drop about 30 degrees as we continue to tap into some of those colder conditions across the state. 27 currently in Palmer, 30 degrees in Juneau. We're also going to be watching some increasing snow showers out towards southeast throughout the week. As far as this morning, though, you can see lingering snow showers remain with the interior. This is where we could see some additional couple of inches to be expected. Unlike yesterday, the heaviest snowfall today will shift into eastern and southeastern parts of the interior. But even then, we're not expecting to see any heavy snowfall compared to what we did see yesterday. But we'll still pack on additional couple of inches of that snow accumulation. You can see that blowing snow sideways along the Steese Highway. So as you get out on those roadways, if you have to head somewhere, give yourself plenty of time to get where you are going. If you don't have to head anywhere, just stay indoors, as it will take some time to clear those roads due to this heavy snowfall, which due to the ongoing active weather we've seen all season long, we're dealing with one of the top 10 snowiest seasons on record for Fairbanks. There's those temperatures across the state. Notice from the interior south, we're sitting above zero. There's those colder conditions off towards the west and northwest that will steadily build back in across the state. In fact, temperatures are already beginning to cool off anywhere from about 20 to 40 degrees colder than this time yesterday. And all of that colder air is heading our way. So coming up in my full forecast, we'll be talking about more of those snow and winds through the interior, those gusty winds that we'll see through the Tanana Valley, and those Arctic air that will drop temperatures across the state 20+ degrees, some of the coldest conditions in the interior. I'll have those details coming up.
Following a series of ICE arrests in Alaska, new questions have arisen about the role of local law enforcement in federal immigration enforcement. Sean Case, the Anchorage police chief, told our Joe Allgood that APD does not have an agreement to work with the Department of Homeland Security or ICE in immigration enforcement. However, if they are asked by the feds to aid in criminal investigations, they will assist. Joe Allgood shares more.
Unlike some local police jurisdictions or the Alaska Department of Corrections, APD does not have a legally binding agreement to help Homeland Security or ICE in immigration investigations.
We have almost no interaction with immigration enforcement as a straight immigration enforcement agencies.
APD's Chief Sean Case said there are questions his officers don't ask.
We're not trying to determine immigration status with the police department. We're just trying to enforce local and state laws.
In fact, Case said immigration status, quote, does not matter in the case of victims.
Whether here legally or not, that doesn't give anyone the right to victimize you. And so our highest priorities are victims.
Though in a recent routine traffic stop for a broken taillight, Case said APD did reach out to Homeland Security after having difficulty identifying the driver, who only spoke Spanish. Though Case did not qualify this as cooperating.
Would you say that you cooperate with immigration and customs enforcement at all?
I'm not sure this particular scenario is really whether or not we cooperated or not with Homeland Security in this case, because we couldn't identify the individual. The phone call was made to Homeland Security to help with identification. So I don't know if I would classify that as cooperating.
And in the case of a criminal investigation, Case said they would be obliged to assist, as they do with all federal agencies.
So if any federal agent came to us and said, we're investigating a homicide, like a criminal offense, we would cooperate and help and assist them in that criminal investigation.
Generally speaking, Case said APD has a, quote, pretty clear role.
We stay on our side of the fence because we're not actively involved in immigration enforcement.
Joe Allgood, Alaska's news source.
House Judiciary members are looking for answers and solutions about ICE activity in Alaska. At a hearing at the Capitol Monday, immigration experts, clergy members, and a kindergarten mother testified on behalf of the deported family. The committee wants to know if such deportations are normal and what can prevent the detention of minors. ICE and Department of Homeland Security representatives did not attend, but committee chair Andrew Gray says he's been in contact with DHS staff. He gave them a deadline on Friday to respond.
I think there's a lot of work my office is going to keep doing on that issue. I think we heard it from Representative Gray at the end that there needs to be a call for, I think, a wholesale reform and something that we can look at and say we know for certain this is the path forward.
My biggest hope is that we don't see any more children detained by ICE in Alaska. I mean, and that is something that I'm not really sure I should say on the record, but I will say is that, you know, we want folks to know that Alaskans are not going to tolerate this.
That's just part of what we heard from lawmakers. You can check out more in the latest edition of Alaska's Political Pipeline podcast with Will Courtney. You can find it on our website, mobile app, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. A state senator's former chief of staff pleaded not guilty to child sex trafficking charges. Craig Valdez appeared in federal court Monday. Prosecutors say he used Snapchat to target girls as young as 13. They say they have evidence of at least 11 suspected victims. A detention hearing is scheduled for Wednesday to determine if Valdez will remain in custody. Senator Rauscher says the arrest was, quote, a shock to my office. The FBI is asking anyone with information to call the Anchorage field office. That information, along with full case details, are live right now on our website and mobile app. Mexico's military killed one of the country's most powerful drug cartel leaders last weekend. The retaliation has been brutal. At least 73 people dead. And as Augusta McDonald reports, several Alaskans are caught in the middle, sheltering in their hotels as violence erupts around them.
Burning cars and buildings. Security forces are on high alert across Mexico as shuttered airports put travelers in a panic.
This is just one of the many things that were targeted last night.
Travelers like the Anchorage Fire and Police chaplain Diane Peterson, a familiar face in our community who shared these photos and videos of damage near her hotel, and told us she and her family are safe after seeing burning tour buses in this Puerto Vallarta neighborhood. A man from Palmer celebrating his 8th wedding anniversary with his wife said he wasn't comfortable sharing his name, but that he was thankful for 2 hotel staff members also caught up in the lockdown who shared their own food.
The 2 staff members really were thrust into something very difficult and showed some great companionship and camaraderie and leadership to help secure the doors and keep everyone calm and do our best, and everyone shared the information that we could gather.
Another family we've been following this week caught in the middle of cartel violence that pushed them to flee Jalisco 3 years ago.
It was really difficult to try to just live normal here and go to work and just like try to pretend like nothing's wrong and everything's fine at work, while I'm just nonstop just worried about my family and the violence that they're right smack in the middle of.
Sonia saying the violence their family witnessed this weekend worse than when she fled for the U.S. border in 2023.
Christopher, a week ago, you were going to high school in Soldotna. How are you feeling? This is a very swift change in your reality.
A bit sad and bad.
They are still trying to find a way for the Arriaga family to secure a safer future. Augusta McDonald, Alaska's news source.
Meantime, a winter storm continues to dump snow on the interior through midweek, which has resulted in the borough canceling schools again today. Bus services, parks, recreation facilities, and libraries will also be closed today. The Department of Transportation and City Public Works crews are working to clear roads. DOT is prioritizing major routes and access to hospitals and schools. Heavy snow on main roads may require multiple passes before crews move to lower priority streets.
As we get done with the priority lists, going through the priority 1s and the 2s, we start back all over again, going back over them again. Pretty much after 3 or 4 hours of a road being plowed, it almost looks like we haven't been there again already.
A weather alert is in place for Fairbanks until Wednesday. The deadline to submit written comments on the Anchorage School District school closures plan has now passed. That expired at midnight. The school board is set to meet tonight to discuss the potential closures of Fire Lake, Lake Otis, and Campbell STEM elementary schools. The meeting tonight is set for 7 at the ASD Education Center. The meeting will not include public testimony. Still ahead on the Morning Edition, it's a tradition that dates all the way back to 1939, and it has collectors addicted and pinned, pun intended, to the subject of the Fur Ronde pin swap. We'll take a look at the event next.
While snow remains through the interior, the bigger focus the rest of this week is bitter cold conditions. I'll have just how cold we'll get through the interior as well as that statewide forecast. First at sunrise, 8:14 in Anchorage, 9:23 in Ukiana. Your full forecast is next.
Welcome back. 14 minutes past the hour on this Tuesday morning, and we are getting chillier, Aaron.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about those temperatures taking a drastic drop off here over the next couple of days as we see the return to some bitter cold. Now, this is for Fairbanks. You can see that high for today topping out right at 20 degrees. And then by Thursday night into Friday morning, you'll see those lows sitting right around 40 below for Fairbanks. So we're talking about roughly a 60-degree temperature drop. Some of the coldest spots through the interior, we'll see lows anywhere from about 50 to 55 below. And this will stay with us through the close of this week. We're also going to see those afternoon highs dropping well below zero as well. In addition to that return to those bitter cold conditions, it's been a snowy season for the interior. Fairbanks is currently coming in at the 7th snowiest season to date, where we're sitting at just under 90 inches of snow accumulation. We're at 86.5 inches. And notice that snow, for the most part, has been falling over the last, we'll call it last 2.5 weeks, pretty much each and every day. Now, we were fairly dry Saturday. Yesterday, this has not been updated yet, but yesterday we did officially pick up 6.1 inches of snow accumulation for Fairbanks, which brings the amount of snow that has fallen since Valentine's Day 33.3 inches. That's about 40% of the seasonal snowfall total that has already fallen through Fairbanks. So vast majority of that snow has fallen just within the last 2 weeks for the interior. We're still holding on to some of that snowfall this morning. Winds will also increase through the Tanana Valley. That will likely stay with us through at least the afternoon hours where we can see some gusty conditions. Winds shouldn't be strong. We'll likely see winds peak at about 20 to 30 miles per hour. But even then, we'll hold on to some localized areas of blowing snow and reduced visibility. So we'll still pick up additional couple of inches of that snow accumulation, more so through the eastern interior, where we'll see about 1 to 4 inches of that additional snow accumulation. The central interior and areas to the west may see about a trace to an additional inch of that snowfall. So the heaviest snow fell yesterday. Today is just the remnants of that snowfall as well as those winds that we'll see. And then it's the return to those colder conditions as we see winter's revenge build back in across the state. So we've got that Siberian air that's dropping in across Alaska. This is going to really cover a good portion of the state as we close out February and welcome in March. So expect an extended stretch of cold conditions. This will also mean a lot drier weather, which for the interior will be some welcoming news as we welcome the close of this month and welcome in our March. As far as today, though, you can see snow showers, those temperatures topping out at 20. There's those temperatures. You can see afternoon highs by tomorrow. We'll drop down to -15. Now, we can't rule out some lingering isolated snow showers, but most of that activity should taper off today. And then you can see those overnight lows persistent, staying anywhere from about 30 to 40 below for Fairbanks. But again, some of the coldest spots of the interior will see lows dropping as cold as about 50 to 55 below, even into early next week. We're going to continue to hold on to those bitter cold conditions. So go ahead and take the necessary precautions if you have any plans through the rest of this week, as that bitter cold air will settle back in. And you can see we do stay on the dry side with plenty of sunshine in the forecast. We'll call it partly cloudy and bitter cold into early next week.
Her mission, brought on by personal grief, got her an audience with the president. Now she's back in D.C. for his big Tuesday night address. Jace Bertrand spoke with Sandy Snodgrass to learn her story and how she hopes President Trump addresses the fentanyl crisis in his State of the Union speech.
I thought if I were to ever get a call about my son, it would be that call, that something had happened to him in the woods in Alaska. That's not the call I got. The call I got was that he was poisoned by fentanyl less than a mile away from home. And he had gone out for a mountain bike ride that day and never came home.
That call to Sandy Snodgrass came in October 2021. And while her 22-year-old son Bruce will never come home, she made it her mission to protect other families.
We were #1 in the nation for the highest increase in deaths due to fentanyl poisoning. And that just wasn't okay with me. And I've been working ever since to fight fentanyl in any way I can.
Now she's in D.C. with a ticket to an event the nation will be locked into Tuesday night.
Senator Murkowski invited me to be a guest at the State of the Union this year and participate in, kind of a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to see the President of the United States address the country.
Among many topics, the speech is expected to address the dangers of fentanyl.
I'm looking forward to seeing what he says he's going to do to continue the fight against illicit drugs, particularly fentanyl, in this country moving forward.
Last December, Snodgrass met with President Donald Trump at the White House to sign Bruce's Law, a bill aiming to support drug rehabilitation programs.
My child is dead. I can't save my child. President Trump can't save my child. But we're in this fight to save other people's children. And I'm looking forward to what he says tomorrow that he's going to do to continue to save American lives.
Turning tragedy into action, Snodgrass continues to honor her son's legacy through her advocacy. Jace Bertrand, Alaska's news source.
Now, the State of the Union address starts today at 5 p.m. local time. You can watch it right here on Alaska's news source. We will not have a 5 or 6 p.m. newscast due to the special address, but you can always watch the 4 on any of our streaming apps. Since 1939, Ferrandi has had a tradition that keeps collectors coming back year after year, the pin swap. Some have been collecting for decades, others are just getting started. But they all share one thing, a passion for these tiny pieces of Ferrandi history. Photojournalist Peter Jackson takes us there.
So it's the Ferrandi pin swap, which is a long-standing tradition with Ferrandi. And some of these people have collections from the very beginning. Some of them have just a single collection that they want to sell, or they have a whole, they have tons and tons and tons of surplus pins that they've been collecting over the years.
All these are different years.
Or people want to get started pin collecting, and this is where they come because they know that they can find the treasures here.
Oh, that's it. That's it.
Is that right?
Yeah, isn't that awesome? Okay, so I got these.
I've been collecting really since I came to Alaska in 1959. So I've been collecting the pins for 60-some years.
The best part about it is coming and talking to people about the pins that they love, the pins that are important to them. It's an addiction.
I'm not exactly sure when I started collecting, but I would say it's in probably the 90s, probably. And then I just become addicted to every place I seen them, I bought them. I got a bunch now.
The event has been here for at least the last 10 years, and it will continue to be here as long as they'll have us.
Yeah, as long as
really, as long as they'll keep us.
I'm not going to acquire anymore.
Is that in your collection? Okay.
Thanks for listening to our podcast. Click subscribe so you can get the latest podcasts from Alaska's news source automatically. And stay up to date with breaking news and in-depth reporting. Available for free 24/7 with the Alaska's news source app.